Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with a 450 cost rated match here in the EWAC Nero. We're going to be on Resort Development District for this match here, and I believe this is actually going to be one of the oldest matches that I have had in my backlog for a suit that I am long overdue to really be wanting to make a video of, and that's going to be the EWAC Nero here. I really like the Nero units in GBO2. I think they've always been some of the more fun suits to use at their cost. The General Nero is just a pretty reliable general overall. Do really like the kit of it, and the Nero Trainer, that's going to be the raid of this trio, is well, it's actually one of the few heavy attack suits that I would say I'm relatively decent with. Heavy attack suits have never really been my thing, but the Nero Trainer, just that one, feels a lot more fun to use in compared to some of the other heavy attack suits I've played. But the EWAC Nero here, this is going to be the support in the trio, which is kind of funny because the last video I did was on the Zeta Gundam 3B type, and that was also the general, not the general, but the support in its trio, so I guess we're looking at a support trio week here for videos, but the EWAC Nero here, this suit has quite some interesting gimmicks going for it. For your kit, you do have the Nero beam rifle as your primary, and as you can see, there are going to be points that with the charge shot, I'm able to do some pretty good damage, especially against that enemy camper. You know, camper has pretty low defenses as it is, so not too surprised there. There was the Thunderbolt Gym, the, what is the name of that one? I know the name, I know the joke name of it, but I'm trying to remember the actual name of it. I'm just going to say the Flight Gym from Thunderbolt, because I cannot remember the name off the top of my head right now, but that is here, that has a level 2, which I don't think I've used the level 2 yet, despite having it, but, yeah, the EWAC Nero here, back to its loadouts, and hey, over 3,000 to a free Jaeger. Yeah, on top of that, you do have the Blow Enhanced 2 as your main melee, with a downswing that is, I think, the exact same as the Woundwort, so you do get that long distance kick. You have the Camera Unit as your first secondary, and this pretty much operates like most of the normal camera weapons. You have the Sensor Unit, which is very similar to the sonar that is used by the EWAC Sack. The names are really starting to slip. I'm having to like think every few seconds, which I shouldn't have to because the enemy team has an Isaac. That's why I call it the EWAC Sack. I didn't use its in-game name. But yeah, you have the Sensor Unit. You have the EWAC Nero Gym Rifle as a sub weapon. So you have a machine gun sub. You have the Smoke Grenade also, which if you throw it on yourself or a teammate, you will gain temporary stealth, which is actually very unique because I feel like most suits that are in the EWAC family, they usually just come with stealth. So this one has the Smoke Grenade instead, which does have its benefits because it does mean you get to share it with your teammates. And then you have the Unmanned Probe. This is probably the most interesting part of this suit's kit. So how the Unmanned Probe works is that it's almost like the turret funnels at like the Nightingale or the Gamol have, but instead they are going to be camera units. So if somebody steps into their field of view, it will continuously mark them, and it will show their little icon and do all the things that cameras do. But it's pretty much just constant until either the probes return to you because they overheat, or if you reload them. I think you can reload them and just have them come to you instantly. I think I do that a few times. I think one time this match, I think I do actually try that. But yeah, I really like the unmanned probes. I think it's a very unique concept, especially if you want to be able to mark a specific area. Especially if it's an area maybe your team is primarily in. It could be useful for trying to, look out for stealth suits, which I don't think there are really any on the enemy team this match, with the exception of that Ifrit Jaeger there. I think it's really the only thing we have to worry about stealth-wise, but it is still useful to be able to mark the enemy team and really know what you're fighting against at what times. And you also have some very nice skills too. Anti-jamming level 3. You have marker, so that's going to allow your teammates to call support fire on you. Honestly, I don't know. I've never gotten the full use of marker. I don't think it's a skill I've ever really used when I had someone on my team who's had it. Occasionally it comes up, but it does seem like it's more of a situational skill. But it is there. It is there in case you ever want to mark a teammate. Maybe a teammate is surrounded by enemies, and you want to try to lure the enemy team into support fire. There's that. That's typically how I try to use it. Let's see. We're spawning in very far back at the base. It doesn't look like we have any points, so we are a pretty far distance from pretty much anything. So I'm going to try to boost over, but it does look like the Silver Haze Kai is the only teammate who is alive right now, though they do seem to be holding up fairly well. I'm going to try to come over here and see if I can lend them a hand. At least try to finish off some of the weaker opponents here, especially that Thunderbolt Jim if I'm able to. I'm definitely trying to get my marks. And looks like they're low on health. I might be able to get them, but there is the Pale Rider VG there, was able to get the counter. Though, not really too optimistic about my situation here, since I am the only one who's really here. My teammates are coming in, but I am completely surrounded, so I'm going to try to eject from my mobile suit and see if I can take point C over here. Looks like our teammates were able to take point D, so at least we do have a spawn point that is a bit closer for the last few seconds here. I do see somebody, enemy pilots, see if I can try to get him. And yep, was able to get him with the blast radius of the rockets, which should hopefully leave us free to capture the points and get back to our suit. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do too much for the very end here, but we'll see if we're able to get a bit more damage off, which honestly is not really the main purpose when it comes to the EWAC units. Though they do have some decent damage potential, you're typically more supposed to just be scanning for enemies using the cameras, because if you mark enemies, they do take extra damage, so that is a pretty good advantage there. But the EWAC Nero here, as I mentioned with the beam rifle, if you use the charge beam rifle on some suits, you can get some pretty decent damage with it. But hey, that's going to be timeout mission over. Let's see how we did here with the EWAC Nero at 450. And got a mission completed. And looks like did get top in assists for this match with 945. Going to send a praise to the Silver Haze Kai and the enemy team's Camphor. Second place with 2 kills and 2 loss. 4th place in damage and 7th in individual score, but really, not too shabby there. Really thought I did focus on, as I mentioned, playing the role of the EWAC unit and really just trying to get as much scans in as I could, especially with the unmanned probes, since you really don't have to, worry about them, they just kind of float there. It does leave you pretty open to just, pop them out and they'll pretty much do the scanning for you. And then you can also just use your other camera tools as well, or just focus on using your weapons while those scan. So that's another reason I like it. It does, give you some really neat options for how you want to play it around those unmanned probes. But, yeah, that's all I really have to say for this video here. Much like the other Nero units, I do like the EWAC version as well. All 3 of them, as I said, all 3 just feel like really nice suits to play. And, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think about the EWAC Nero. And yeah, with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.